In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a basic assignment. Assignments are nice in Canvas because they allow the student an avenue to submit their work directly to the teacher, and it's not just hanging out on a discussion board for everyone to see. So the first thing you do is go into your course, go over to Assignments in the side navigation. Even if it's grayed out, that's okay. I haven't created any assignments yet, so that's why it's grayed out. And go to Add Assignment. This takes you into the Rich Content Editor. And just like before, you can copy and paste or add the details using the Rich Content Editor of your assignment into this section right here. Once you have that set up, that's a pretty simple assignment, but we'll go down here and say how many points it's worth. Add it to an assignment group. If you would like to create a new group, for example, this is more an open-ended assignment. I'm going to call this Journal. I can add that group right now, and what that does is it creates just general assignments or journal assignments. They still get graded the same way, it's just that I can add them into a new group, or you can create a new group if you'd like. Display grade is points, letter grade, GPA, percentage, complete, incomplete. Just depends on what you want. Now this is where the power of Canvas really comes in, is the way that students can submit these assignments. There's a few options. You can have no submission. For example, if you just want to tell them what they need to do, this would be a great place to provide an assignment that's categorized as an assignment, but they don't have to turn anything in. Online is the way that I prefer, and I'll go back to this in a second. On paper is something they'll turn in, so they know they have to turn something in on paper. You don't actually do that through Canvas. Or an external tool, something like SoftChalk or StormCloud, or probably some other things you're not really familiar with. So I would just go with online. This is the way that I like the best. So to contribute to this assignment, a student can provide a text entry. If you look at my description, write a 3-paragraph summary of your readings this week. So that will give them access to the Rich Content Editor, which then they can type directly in Canvas. Now, if they type something in a Google Doc or they have it online somewhere, you can also ask for a link to that website. If I wanted to change this and say, for example, this, if I wanted my students to provide a 3-minute video of themselves describing what they've read, I can also ask for a media recording. So in the Rich Content Editor, they can also provide a video. If that's all I want is a media recording, that's the only option they'll get if these other ones are unchecked. You want to make sure that you choose the necessary options for your students. If you want to give them all the options, you can, but if you want to focus it down, you can remove check marks. Or they can do a file upload, and you can restrict the types of files. So say, for example, I only want a file. Let's get rid of these other ones. Let's say I only want a file upload that is a doc or a docx. Now let's add PDF on there too. You just separate the types that you would like by a comma, and it doesn't need a space, but I just think it looks better. And students can submit their entry that way. So let me check these again. You can make this a group assignment. If you don't have groups set up, you can actually allow self-sign-up in the same section. This is a group topic again. We won't talk about that right now. Or you can create a new group right now. I don't want to do groups on this. You can require peer reviews, which is sometimes nice. You can manually or automatically assign those, or give them the anonymous option. This is where you'll check if you want it to go to PowerGrade, your PowerSchool gradebook. Moderated grading, don't worry about that right now. And where you assign it is where you have a lot of options. This is really nice because by default, it goes to everyone in the course. You can set a due date for it. So this is when the assignment's due. However, you can also make it available from a certain date until a certain date. So even though that until date may be past due, they can still get some credit and it will mark it as late. Now, if you have other special needs or circumstances, you can click Add right here and assign this to specific students. Maybe they were gone for an extracurricular activity or something like that. You can add them in here and give them a different due date if you would like, or special needs students in any way. Or simply just delete those extra characteristics of the assignment and it goes back to the default. Just make sure you click Save or Save and Publish. And if you want to change any of the information that's in this assignment, you can notify users that this content has changed. You simply just check that button, and there you go. So I'm going to save and publish. Let's look at what our assignment looks like in the student view. If you remember, you go to Settings, Student View, and now when I go to Assignments, here's my new assignment that I created, and the student, when they submit, they have the options of submitting a text entry box, a website URL, a media recording, or a file upload, but the files have to be doc, docx, or PDF. So let's submit our assignment, and you can see that those 4 checkboxes that I checked before are different tabs. So if I want to submit a website URL, I paste it in there. If I want to do a text entry, there's my rich content editor where I can do text entry. File upload is I simply choose the file or add another file up to however many you want. You can put comments in there. Or the media recording was right here. Record, upload media. And this is where you would do that. I'm clicking the X to get out of there. Let's leave student view. And that's it. That's how you create a new assignment.